Hi, this is Keith, and welcome to my channel. Recently I posted some test shots for a Star Wars CGI short film I'm working on starring BB-8. As I was working on the shots, I wasn't pleased with the lighting and reflections the default environment map was producing, or that of any of the other maps that came with Element 3D. You can see that the reflection in BB-8's eye does not match the scene. I wanted the reflections and lighting to better match the scene I was building. I created my own environment maps for my Spacester and Monolith videos, but those weren't true equirectangular images. They were cobbled together to be an approximation based on the backgrounds in my comps, and in those cases, they were good enough. I wanted to see what I could do with After Effects' VR tools since they create equirectangular images. Here's what I did. And by the way, I'm not saying this is the only way to do it, it's what I did in this instance to produce results I was happy with. I created a new comp called Environment at a resolution of 4096 by 2048. This is the same as HDRI images I've downloaded before. The frame rate is the same as my main comp. I created a camera and a new solid. Then I applied Element 3D to the solid. In Element 3D's scene setup, I imported the Death Star corridor from VideoCopilot Star Wars pack. Back in the environment comp, I moved the camera until it was in the middle of the model, then I rotated the model 90 degrees so the camera was looking down the corridor. I also adjusted the Y position of the model until the camera was centered between ceiling and floor. In my test, the final environment map produced better results with the reflections turned off in the render settings. I also turned off the environment map for the scene by going back to the scene setup and setting the environment to an empty custom layer. I set the lighting influence to 0%, then I turned off the comp lights and set the add lighting to 100 ambient with a brightness multiplier of 50%. I set the ambient occlusion to ray tracing since that's what I used in my main comp. After I was okay with the look of the corridor, I went to Composition, VR, and clicked Create VR Environment. I made sure the Create VR from Current Composition was selected. In Camera Settings, I checked Center Camera. In Advanced Settings, I checked Using 3D Plugins. Finally, I clicked Generate VR Output, and after a couple of seconds, a new comp called Environment VR Output was generated showing the equirectangular view of my scene. I rendered out a frame of this comp, imported it back into After Effects, and dragged it into my main comp as the bottom layer. Then I set the override layer in Element 3D's physical environment settings to that layer. It turned out a little dark, so I set the exposure to 2.5. I also changed the brightness multiplier under lighting to 25% and rotated the lighting -24 degrees on the x-axis to give BB-8 a little bit of a highlight. Then I disabled the corridor group, enabled Show in Background in the physical environment settings, and adjusted the Y rotation to 80 degrees so the environment more or less matched the scene. And that's it. I was pleased with how this experiment turned out, though I'm sure there might be a better way to go about how I did it. In any case, it worked for me, and I'll continue to learn as I move forward. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe. I'll be posting more breakdown workflow videos on the process of making this short in the future. And of course, please comment if you have any questions or critiques. I'm always learning. See you soon.